I just ended a stream to start another one. You may be wondering, why would you even start the other one at all? Well, I'll tell you why. My reason for that was, I wasn't, and this is gonna sound weird, but I'll give you reasoning for it. I wasn't in the mood for that game. And you say, well, that seems weird. You start a game and then you quit it. But I know it's gonna seem fake. My videos are gonna seem bad. And they're gonna seem ridiculous. If I just go on to a stream and have nothing to say. If I'm not even interested in the thing I'm playing, then how can I expect you to be interested in it as well? So, I decided tonight I was going to do something different and do a game that's quite common on my channel that we can all enjoy. And that, of course, is Grand Theft Auto 5. Oh, back again, bandits, back again, back again. Oh, glad to be back. Glad for you to be back. Glad to be here. So, today we're going to be doing something a little different. Normally it's mostly director mode. No, that's not what I meant to say. Normally it's mostly just me screwing around and whatnot. Today is something different. My fellow bandits. We're going to be doing something called director mode, as you just saw. Now, if you don't know, director mode lets you play as different characters besides the characters that you have, which is Franklin, Michael, Trevor. So we're going to go to the settings, change it to morning, well, dawn. Make a little bit of a broken cloud. We're gonna make it impossible to be wanted. There's gonna be no restricted areas. Invincibility is going to be off. That's good. Then we pick our actors. Now, this one I think you're all going to enjoy. We're going to be a very simple man named Lewis Clark. So original. Wow, that was horrifying. Stimpleton. What? No, give me a second, y'all. Woo! That was bad. Alright. His name will be Jonathan Clark. He's on leave, and he decided, hey, the ATM doesn't work. Did you sit? Do not disrespect me, boy! He's very fast. He's a quick Bowie. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Alright. But then he realized, let's play some tennis. And then he remembered he doesn't know how to play tennis, so he ran away. I want to know what that tennis net is made of. You'll bring her love to me. I'm sorry for yawning now. Now it's kind of boring. We will change that character. Okay, so if anybody is watching the stream, and I will check really quickly. One person is. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. If you would like, I will take comments on any suggestions on the story, maybe a little bit of a role-playing thing. Maybe you want me to be a runaway cop, a clown. Seriously, there's a clown. I could be a clown. Be many different clowns. So, anything you guys want, you can go ahead and just leave a comment, and I'd be happy, so very happy to take your suggestions, because I care about my streamsters. It's not a word, didn't think before I said it. Because I do care, I do, about my, my watchers. Now, we're going to be Lavondrius Smith. Again, I don't know. My barber's name is Lavondrius, so that's how I came up with that one. So he's going to be part of the, the feuds? That's not families. What do I call them feuds? Because that's the colors that they're wearing. So he's going to be part of the families. His weapon of choice is an SNS pistol. You step it! Why did I punch him? I don't know. I wanted to turn around and punched him. Are you going to break the window while getting into this vehicle? And it wasn't me. It was Billy back there. Did I just jump kick her? That's kind of funny, actually. I enjoy that. He just picked up his friend, Bob. Nope.
Are you fucking crazy?
You took my cookie! No! You're gonna be taking my Thin Mints, you're gonna die. Glad we got that clear. I killed him. No, I just... What? I didn't know you could do that. Are you serious? That's really cool. It's really cool. He was just a normal guy. He then realized that his parents were dead. Nope, this isn't Batman. He then he picked up some groceries for his friends. He was sad. He ordered some pizza. Well, he didn't order some. He called it in, went and picked it up at the nearest Domino's, and he was driving home. And you know, we all know Lavondrius. He doesn't like to follow rules. He likes to make illegal turns. Doesn't use his turn signal. What a scam. But listen, if he's gonna be a ruffian like that, couldn't even think of the word. Wow, that's a lot of brain power. Good thing I don't have any. Alright, anyways. He was coming up on Grove Street, where he lived. And since cops always hung out around there, he always followed the law there. But elsewhere, you can forget about it. Especially around these parts. Grove Street was a busy enough intersection. A little curve around. It's called one of the most notorious parts of town. It was mostly owned by the Ballas, so being part of the families was a difficult part of living here. But he lived in his old friend CJ's house. You guys get it, that was a San Andreas reference. Anyways, lived in his old friend CJ's house. So he was alright. I'm sorry, I cannot keep a straight face while this guy's wearing a rag, a dirt bike, and a dirt bike helmet, and a little sleeveless shirt, and a... What are you trying to be? Okay, I'm sorry. Then one day, he got into a little altercation with somebody. Get out of my way! He brought out a knife, but Lavondrius knew how to play. He knew how to fight, and he knew how to fight well. Silly died? Wow! Best future ever, man. He was the best fighter ever. Dies instantly after I say that. Wow! What a smart guy. Wow. But after one of the family members realized what happened, he was ready for revenge on all the Ballas, and he was gonna get it. So, after Lavondrius' death, someone had to pay. Who that someone was gonna be? All of the Ballas. So, he took his car, drove. Then realized, no, I cannot let Lavondrius' death go unnoticed. And trust me when I say this, it was about to get ugly. All the Ballas were gonna pay, starting with the man that killed Lavondrius. And the thing about the families is, well, the Ballas, they love to have coordinated attacks. The families were spontaneous. They were ready to attack at any moment, many of which not even in groups. One of them would just come up and start shooting. Especially if it was personal. He knew that it was going to be a strange day, but he was ready. He realized one of them was escaping. Took steady aim, but missed. Stay down! Okay, I didn't ask for that. He started to run. He knew it was about to get bad. Only to realize the Ballas, they got their hands on some serious tech. Wait. But it was the aliens! No, this isn't the History Channel, don't worry. I just wanted to switch characters. I could have just gone to the frickin'... Okay, whatever. Then, things got worse from there. Because out came the Lost. The Lost were not ones to be messed with. Especially with one of their road captains. Now, the Lost, they wanted some new territory. And guess where they were going to be getting it from? Yeah. Grove Street. They were not packing lightly either. They were carrying shotguns, 50 caliber pistols, and even machetes. If anything was going down, they were going to be prepared for it, which would not be good for the Ballas. So, but the Lost are unlike the families. They are not in a constant rivalry with the Ballas, so they kept it civil at first. Coming up to them, making sure that everything was going to be clear so that nobody had to get hurt. But they had to talk trash. And I got one of them hit. Now, nobody's there to see it. So what was the issue, right? Until somebody else did it again. Pulled out a pistol, sent a message. Everyone who wasn't part of them ran. Everyone who wasn't happy. Because he was a sure shot. He was going to take this area, and by force. So, of course, he took out his shotgun. Anybody coming around here is going to get shot. I'll take this car. Just to make sure that's clear. He named his car the General Lee. And for about a month, there was no more disturbance from the Ballas. That was until he was returning from a business trip. And a business trip is putting it lightly. This was no normal business trip. He realized that the Ballas had taken over again. Was not happy. Sent a message.
Let's do this!
This was the biggest gang fight in the Los Santos County in a year. Now, it was only a year because of how vicious Los Santos County is. Once he got hurt, he was going to leave. Not for good, though. This area meant too much to him. He just didn't want to get killed. He went out, patched himself up. And brought out the big guns. They're gone. He took the General Lee and was going to leave as quick as he could. He didn't want to be there when the cops showed up. It would be too dangerous. They'd recognize it immediately as a gang shootout, and he'd be gone. Luckily, there were no cops on patrol at the time, which definitely helped him out. And that was the last time he ever returned to the area. He was tempted to many times, but he realized it would be too dangerous. So he just gave up. He didn't want to die, even if it meant, to him, the right cause. So, that was the story of the road captain, one of the highest up. But, of course, once that happened, oh my god, everybody wanted to be a part and get rid of all, and I mean all, they wanted to get rid of that. They wanted Grove Street to themselves. So, on came the Vagos. And in came Miguel. Miguel de Rucho said, I'll take this land to myself. He was prepared to. Don't get that wrong. He had a busted up old car that he found in a parking lot. Little did he know that that was the General Lee, or of course the one that was named that by the road captain. But he went to take a look around Grove Street, wanted to see what the happening was. And he was armed. But not as much as he should have been. He had a knife. But the question is, would that be enough to take down an entire gang in an area? That would all depend on his skill. But he brought a nightstick as well. Not intentionally, he forgot he had it in his car until he needed it. Then of course he remembered at that point. Along came the ambulance, but if anybody knows anything, it's that you don't want witnesses. And he was prepared to take care of that asset. Unfortunately, he couldn't find the other paramedic until it was too late. He had already called the police, but he still got him. He still got him. This was going to end with him winning. He, for some reason, jumped in front of a car. No one knows why. He walked up to one of them. A man was firing at him. The dog was attacking him. And that was it. He was killed. He might have been saved if the paramedics hadn't been killed by him. But he didn't care. Oh my God! I'm sorry. I am sorry, but I cannot. Oh my God. Oh man. But let's go away from gangs. Let's talk about somebody else. A migrant worker named Juan. Juan was a very nice man. Had a wife and had 2 kids. He just moved out of Grove Street due to all the gang fights, which was smart. because this was right before the Vagos mass murder. And Miguel, he liked his job. And his job was, well, his job was taking jobs. And as odd as that may seem, he had many different jobs on many different days. He took different jobs for reduced pay. Yet, he said that he's never once had a problem with them paying him below minimum wage. He has a car, a Albany Emperor. Dun, 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 dun. He never broke the law. I say that as I dang near just ran a red light. And, oh, except for that one time, he did back into a taxi cab. He did apologize, and he didn't have to pay because in the United States, if you back into somebody, it is automatically their fault. But he still paid him. His insurance didn't have to. Yes, can I get 2 burritos, please? He went to the taco farmer to pick up some tacos. He loved Mexican food. And afterwards, always went to church. And his family could not go with him, usually to church, except for on Sundays. They always found time to go to church on Sundays. He went in his work clothes because those were the nicest clothes he had. He always said hi to the group of kids outside, and by kids, they were younger than him, but not kids. He accidentally bumped into one of them. After he left church, there was a kid trying to attack. And Miguel didn't want, and Juan didn't want to fight. He did not like conflict. He was not a very fast runner, but he had to get to his car. And out of his fluster, hit the kid. He called him an ambulance, though, and stayed there to make sure he was okay. He checked a pulse, moved him to the curb, and left. He had to get home. So he did speed. And I hope this doesn't sadden anyone when I say this, but where he lived was not desirable. He lived in a park. Well, that's what they called them. It was a place where many homeless people lived. And it was sad. It was. He was the only one with a car, so he often gave rides to his friends. But he had to get home. And he did have a bit more of an extravagant home than others. He didn't live in this, but he always walked through it. He never knew why. He just, out of habit, always walked through it when going to his home. But instead of living in a car or in a tent, he did have a little shack. It was very small, and he couldn't share it with his family. But they did live nearby. The rest of his family did live in a tent. So he always visited them after work. Juan was a very, very, very nice man who did honest work. But one day, his wife was attacked. And for the first time in his life, he became violent. He murdered a woman. And his wife barely had a scratch. But he murdered the woman that attacked her. Miguel's wife said that she never saw him again. Now, this is a very saddening story. And what I want you to take from this is the fact that you can't let your anger get the best of you. You can't. But there was, unfortunately, somebody else who lived in there. Somebody else who was much worse off. A homeless man named Richard. Now, Richard never knew his parents. He was an orphan. And he, too, lived in the homeless park down the lane. He rarely ever left, because usually he had Juan doing his shopping. But after Juan left, he didn't know what to do. He became drunk all the time. He had one friend, and his name was Jonathan. Jonathan always hung out with other people, but Richard never really enjoyed their company. So he only hung out with Jonathan when he was alone. Now, Richard was 56, but most of the other people in there were much older. He was very sad to see his life go away so quick. So he made a mistake. He did something that he knew he shouldn't have. He stole a car. The door was unlocked. So he just took it. And he said to himself, I'm going to go on an adventure. That was always his dream. To go on this grand adventure. He was an odd man. He was. He enjoyed how fast the car was. and died in a car crash. It's a very scary event. He went on a joyride and got killed. But that's not even talking about the inmate who's only known by his nickname because of how notorious he was. They called him simply Ruthless. He escaped from prison and was ready to do anything to stay a free man. But there was a problem. He was drunk. Along with being high on opioids, he decided to go out on a joyride. This seems to be a recurring issue. And guess where he went? After just leaving, he decided to take a car and drive back to break out his friend. This did not work. But he would go. He stole a phone, but that would of course later be confiscated, as he would be driving back to the place he literally just escaped from. All because he was drunk. You could say it was for the best, though. You could say that some divine force intervened, knowing that it was best for him to be back in prison. Bolingbroke. Was definitely not the best place to be, I have to say. He then got out of his car just to steal a motorcycle he thought was cool. They see an inmate and they freak out.
What's your fucking problem? Really?
He would die. But would later be resuscitated and revived from the grips of death. This would not work well. After being transported inside to be revived, of course, they do not want him to escape. Now, go ahead and forget I'm doing this move here. I kind of want it to be... I can't get in otherwise, so I'm trying to keep it original. Or keep it, like, legitimate, at least. He was back inside. And that was definitely not good. People at the prison were scared of him. He was a scary man who did not like to be attacked. Wait, what? No. Who did not like to be bothered. No one likes to be attacked. What the heck is wrong with me today, guys? I apologize. But he was going to escape again. Except this time he wasn't going to be drunk. He took a soda bottle. And stabbed the guard. If he would get lucky and kill the guard, he would be able to take his gun. They revoked. He was knocked unconscious and was revoked all privileges related to soda, any bottles, any glass, everything. He was no longer allowed to have it. But he was ready to escape. And this time, he went into the guard's office and took something more sinister. And a nightstick would bide him time. But his plans kept on failing, but he kept on surviving all of it. But it kept on getting harder every time, with them getting more and more strict. He was not ready, to say the least. Now, I've seen men like his type before. For example, we have Killer. He made a successful escape back in 2009 after stealing, wouldn't you believe it, an assault rifle from the guards. How'd he do it? No one knows. He had to find a way to get down safely, as jumping would lead to his death. He still hasn't been found. We do not know his whereabouts. He could be dead, and we would have no idea. What we do know, however, is that security measures were greatly increased after this event.
Drop your weapon! Okay, bitch!
We'll bring in the warden at the time. Yes, I was the warden back in 2003 to 2011, and I was there on the day that this happened, and I remember vividly how it happened. He stole an assault rifle. It was, I don't know how he got it. I do not. It's mesmerizing to me that men who I trained personally at times were killed by an assailant, of which they were many times supposedly prepared for. I don't personally understand it. I do not think that those men should have died. With the training they received, and with the lack of skills that the prisoner had, he'd best be thanking his lucky stars.
This is fucked up, man.
That he got out. Now, I heard he was trapped in the inner gate for some time. But he found an exit. Unless he's still in there today. Yeah. I don't know. I find it very hard to believe that this man escaped. I mean, I find it ridiculous that this happened. That this man was armed. Was able to get away from highly trained police. I don't understand it. Which I guess is a me problem, isn't it? But that was just one example of the problem. But let's take a little more from this. One FIB agent decided to come in and have a word with a certain person. He was a very bouncy man. His mother was a trampoline. How are you men doing today? Would I be able to get access in? I am FIB. Of course. Thank you. These men are dangerous. Careful. I'm always careful. That will not be a problem.
Bullshit.
And if anything does happen, I am always armed. Where is inmate D7510B? I need to speak with him. Cannot find them. May I ask where your inmates are held right now? Probably at lunch. Is there any need to get sarcastic with me, sir? I don't know. You're asking stupid questions. So, I'd say so. I'm going to kill myself now. That was pretty cool, actually. Alright, guys. That got kind of weird at the end. Thanks for watching, y'all. I appreciate it. And as always, keep it real, bandits.